our second piece of tea is somebody DMing for the most audacious commission ever. So here's the tweet. This was posted by Azuki-chan. The level of audacity in a person asking for this commission is crazy. Artists, do you see this as normal? Because they auto-reject this type of work. Please don't ask for this type of conditions. Hashtag VGen, Let's read this together, guys. I'm gonna call them Dino because they just have a Dino profile photo. Dino says, hello, I'm interested in a header from my VTuber model. 1, I want to use it for commercial purposes. Is that okay? 2, I want to have the copyright. What would be the extra cost? 3, I want it to not be displayed in your portfolio or social media. 4, I don't want to give credits on social media. 5, do I need to send illustrations of the character and logo, or can you do it? What? Azuki basically says, hi, sorry, I don't sell my art with my copyright. My art is mine and I'm the creator. You can use it commercially with the fee, but I have the copyright. They said some other stuff that got cropped off. Azuki then says, the fact of the red flag of not giving me credit, of not promoting me, of anything like that is no longer what I want to point out. It's the miserable way in which it has told me as if I were not a person, as if I were just a machine drawing. No one on the other side of the PC. He hasn't asked me. He hasn't told me that he is going to do something contrary to what I may feel or think. That is what made me feel bad. I'm not going to give you credit. I'm not going to let you promote your work, etc. It's violent. It's not a pleasant way to read. Alaska has a theory and they said, it kind of sounds like they want to pretend they drew it. I'm not sure why else you wouldn't want to credit the artist or let them put their work in their portfolio. But no, I wouldn't agree to this. It's weird at best. So throwing in my 2 cents here, I've done commissions here and there, right? I think having the rights for commercial purposes is completely valid. It's always an extra fee to purchase commercial rights. And what commercial rights means, if you're not an artist, is that you can then use it to make money. Let me say hypothetically, pulling up this keyboard. You see this artwork on the keyboard? I know it's upside down. I drew this. I drew this artwork for these frogs. Let's say hypothetically, you wanted a keyboard commission for yourself. You wanted a custom keyboard. This is made from Goblin Tech keys. You wanted art for it. You could commission me. I would make some artwork for you and you could get it printed on some keycaps and have your own keyboard for personal use. Totally fine. I would just charge you a commission rate. Let's say hypothetically, it would cost you $300 to get this art piece made. Probably not. I charge hourly. So I just kind of roughly estimate how many hours it would take me. This took me probably 8 hours. So it's probably be like 200, 250, probably something like that. Now, if you wanted to profit off of this artwork, let's say besides just having a personal keyboard for yourself, you wanted your own keyboard to sell with your artwork. Let's say you have a theme, let's say an art piece of your VTuber model that would then go on a keyboard and you would sell this VTuber model keyboard of yourself for profit. That is now then going to tack on a commercial fee because you are making money with my artwork. So therefore, I need to take a cut out of it. It's not selfish. It's just how the world works. This is common knowledge. It's common in the art place. It is, I would say, predatory to profit off of an artist's work without buying commercial rights for it. Make sure your artists get paid a fair share. Now, they would want to have the copyright too. That is point number 2. It's not unheard of either. I have had times where I have had to give up the copyright of my artwork to somebody else. And what that refers to is copyright is literally ownership over the artwork. It is not the same as commercial purposes. Again, using this keyboard as an example, right? If I made a VTuber keyboard for you and gave you commercial rights, you can profit off of this artwork by selling it as a keyboard, blah, blah, blah. But that is within the confines of the commercial agreements. You can sell it for a keyboard. I still own the artwork technically. If you were to then own the copyright of the artwork, you can then take the artwork, see it, reproduce it, reuse it, and use it for whatever you want to do. You can take the VTuber art that I make you for a keyboard, you can then slap it on a mouse pad and sell it like that too if you have the copyright for it. You can do whatever the hell you want because you own the artwork. I would say it's a little bit if they're asking for the copyright. It's not unheard of though. When I was employed at Dignitas, if you guys don't know Dig, it's an esports org, okay? When I was employed under them, there was literally something in my contract that said any artwork I produced for Dignitas is owned by them. They own the copyright to the artwork, even if I was the one that made it. And in order to be employed by them, I had to sign that agreement. Reason being, it becomes very, very messy legally if I made artwork for them and then didn't give them the copyright for it, because then they wouldn't be able to use it in tweets and like future tweets, even if I got fired. I love them, but I quit because I wanted to be a full-time creator. It's been a little bit over a year since I quit. There's cases where you do need to give up the copyright for your art. Most of the times, if it's a freelance service, you would charge for that. For me, because I was an employee, it was like in my contract. It was like part of getting the job. It's a little bit odd if it's just an individual trying to buy it. It makes more sense for companies to purchase copyright because purchasing copyright is expensive. Now, number 3, I want it to not be displayed in your portfolio or social media. This is weird. In some commissions, the artist or the commissioner does not want the art to be displayed. The reason being mainly is because it is like secret art that they don't want people to see. As in, let's say they're doing a VTuber 2.0 debut and they don't want people to see their 2.0 model until they want it to be shown, until they have their debut stream. For that reason, a lot of times VTubers will ask that the artwork not be posted until after their debut. There's extra fees. You have to pay more for that because the artist, when they make your art, okay, after they spend the hours and hours making your art, they can then use that artwork to promote their services. Hey, here's a banner that I made for this VTuber. Come commission me for banner. They lose out on the opportunity cost to do that by hiding your artwork from the world, by not claiming it as theirs, and by not putting it on the portfolio, like no showcasing of the artwork because they want to keep it hush hush, you know? But it starts getting a little sus when you're asking for that without any reason, you know what I mean? 4, I do not want to give credit on social media. Okay, now this is weird, bro. Why do you not want to credit the artist? It's not mandatory to credit the artist, depending on the artist, whatever. But it's like a show of good faith. Like when you go to Costco and you eat a Costco sample to throw it in the trash can next to their little stand instead of throwing it on the floor. I guess, can you literally throw it on the floor? Yeah, but that's just, you're just a scum if you do that. If you have art and then you post it and then you don't credit the artist for it, a little bit less than scum of throwing Costco wrappers on the floor, but it's still sus to me. Most people, they give credit somewhere. Or even if they don't credit, if people ask, they'll tell. Why do you not want to credit the artist? It doesn't take anything out of you to credit the artist. You could literally, like, when you post your banner, you can just put a little tweet, banner made by the wonderful Azuki-chan, and then we call it a day, and then you're good. Is it really so much off your back to do that you want to like negotiate not having to do that? And then 5, do I need to send illustrations of the character and logo, or can you do it? I mean, this is a valid ask, to be honest, because maybe they've just never commissioned for a banner anymore. They don't know the process. I feel like every person has a different process. Some people do a lot of photo bashing for banners, so they just take existing photos and bash it together. You need to give them the photos. Other people, they hand make everything from scratch. It depends. For giving credit, that's the weirdest one. Of all the other ones, I can come up with like benefit of doubt for it. The not giving credit, bro, I can't come up with a benefit of the doubt for that one. We have bok choy stating, so it's like the equivalent to a logo design for a company. I don't think it would be possible to take away the ability to say that you made the design. Some of the requests make sense from a business perspective if they want to make merch. Azuki says, I think it's something like that, but no. I think he only wants to have all rights reserved if someday he becomes famous or something. But nothing deserves the last conditions. For what? I don't know. Even if you get famous VTubers still credit their artists. Iron Mouse is always crediting and like retweeting her artists. Rin says, I would have just thrown some random ass numbers in there to see how they react. Like, okay, of course, it'd be like 10 million for one copyright. Some people really have no shame. Azuki says, nice mind, haha. Laura says, I'll be like, sure, give me 50,000 pounds, or the door is that way. Annie asks, how does one get copyright of their own art? Azuki says, I must give them to him by my own under a contract specifying that I give the credits of creation, distribution, use, etc. And no, if you don't commission me, there's no way of giving that to you. Annie says, no, I mean, how does it work? I'm an artist myself, and I'm wondering if I give my art to somebody, do I take it over time, I think is what they said, or only if they're actively using it, like a VTuber model? And if so, how do I affirm with copyright that this is my piece? Azuki says, you sell the art under an invoice with the fees that you want for the use, royalties, etc. For example, my commercial fee for artwork is plus $100, but for a VTuber model is plus 30% of the total cost of the model. You have that invoice, and also you have the original art or file created in the correct dates. But in legal terms, you must register the artwork as yours. So that was very well put from Azuki. We got to learn a lot, and other people are basically agreeing. Prince of Shroom says, all of them except for number 2 are relatively normal. Private commissions number 3 are relatively common. Not crediting number 4 is kind of weird, but I can see that being negotiable. Like ask them to credit you on their website in some credits tab. Number 1 and 5 are totally normal. That number 2 though is what the F. And just to look up to remind you, however, the copyright is still normal, but it's normal in a business world. It's not normal or commonplace for individuals, if that makes sense. Not crediting number 4 is kind of weird, and private commissions not being displayed on portfolios and stuff like that. It is again extra fees. Commercial purposes and sending illustrations. Yeah, sending illustrations is a valid question to ask. So the only weird bullets are like 2 through 4, where it's a little bit odd. Mitsuki says, number 2 is probably they think they're going to be successful later and don't want to have to pay out to the artist they commission if they were to guess. Number 3 only makes sense if he's keeping it private, which number 4 suggests he isn't. The whole thing paints a suspicious picture. I absolutely agree. This is just weird in general. I'm sorry this happened to Azuki, that they had to just like, I don't know, deal with this bro's audacity. I mean, yo, throw out a really, really high rate, see what they say. But Azuki's art is really pretty, so go check them out if you know, want to see some pretty looking waifus. And yeah, if you're an artist, don't let random people with audacity try to like bully you down into signing away all your rights and stuff like that for an art piece that they want.